welcome back to Semi-Occasional Gaming Podcast. Today is something a bit different. We are doing what I'm going to call checkpoint chats. So the idea is we're going to do some short form podcasts, 15, 20 minutes, just to sort of keep the ball rolling in between the main missions. So this is the first episode of checkpoint chats or bite-sized chats or whatever I decide to call it. And
Semi-occasional chats.
yes. And we've got an old friend of the show joining us today. Rex, how you going?
Stuff. I'm doing great. I'm
Yeah,
really happy at the moment. Everything's awesome.
that's great. Well, yeah, this is timely because we've had some news the last couple of days, yesterday actually, and we've had the reveal of the PS4 Pro, long-awaited PS5 Pro, long-awaited
There you
PS5
go.
Pro. And yeah, I thought we could just have a little chat about that because we've got some thoughts and feelings, and yeah, let's kick it off. What do you reckon about this PS5 Pro?
So many feelings.
Yeah,
Well, so here's the thing, right? So what I want to try and separate the whole price thing from the actual presentation, right?
let's do that.
So what?
Yeah, right. Let's
Yeah,
let's let's forget the price for the minute.
yeah. We'll leave it to the end, right? So because the thing is that it was just about what it is actually as a machine, right? What it's actually doing.
Hmm.
So watching it during that presentation, I actually quite enjoyed it. I was somewhat impressed. I didn't think I was going to be. But man, some of those things did actually look really good, super buttery smooth and stuff as well. Like,
Hmm.
and we were talking about like fucking Spider-Man and Last of Us 2, and these are all like PS4 games, right?
Yeah, yeah.
So, it was it. I felt that was actually a little bit more impressive than what I was expecting, and
Okay.
so I actually quite liked. I was quite impressed with it. I liked the look of it, and actually was almost excited for it a bit more than I was expecting. Um, I thought the PS4 Pro was a waste of everybody's time,
Oh,
so
really?
I I,
I
I
loved it.
thought this was going to be a waste of time too. So I actually was somewhat impressed.
I
Um,
um I, I really liked my PS4 Pro, and I think because I like the idea of pushing a generation to the limits, like a console
hmm,
generation to the max, and without buying the PS5, I knew like this is the best I can get. It's got like upscaled 4K and it's got bigger hard drive and this and that. So I've been really looking forward to this the PS5 Pro.
oh, true.
Yeah, yeah. Despite I hardly play PlayStation these days because there's not much
Yeah,
out.
I was
Uh,
gonna say.
but I do have mixed feelings about the whole thing, presentation and the specs. The specs haven't really been revealed, or sort of have.
Yeah,
Um,
it's been a bit vague on the specifics, hasn't it?
yeah. So, let's go. So the presentation. So that who is that guy, by the way? That old dude.
Cerny, I think it was Mike Cerny. Was
Is
that
he
right?
is he the Sony guy?
The yeah, the PlayStation lead architect, I believe.
Oh, okay, sure. Yeah,
Yeah, so he
he
wasn't
was.
like just a marketing dude. He was like a dude who actually did the stuff. So
Yeah, yeah.
that's why I thought it was interesting to hear from him,
Yeah,
actually.
okay, fair enough. All right.
Mm.
Yeah, look, well, I watched it on my phone, so it was kind of hard to tell, like,
Oh, true. Yeah,
spot the difference kind of thing.
yeah.
But yeah, look, I mean, those games did look good, but again, they are PS4 games, aren't they?
Hmm.
And I know that like The Last of Us Part Two was remade for PS5, and then like
Yeah.
this is like an upgrade of the remake now.
Well, that's the yeah. It was it got a PS5 upgrade for
Mm,
free.
the
Then it got
remaster.
a remaster, which was the Last of Us Part Two,
Oh
whatever
yeah,
they
yeah, it
called
did,
it.
eh? Yeah. So it's
Yeah,
actually
that's
it's actually there's four of
this is
them.
the third improvement on Last of Us Two. Yeah, there's been a
Yeah, yeah,
free PS5 upgrade and a paid upgrade, and now there's this will be another further upgrade on the game.
yeah. Flogging a dead horse, eh?
Yeah, it's they're getting there with it.
Yeah. Look, it looked really nice. And one of the things that I have really been longing for is 4K 60 frames per second.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
Because I got a 4K TV. I never
Hmm.
use it because I'm always in performance mode.
Yeah.
And maybe this will do that, but they didn't specifically mention 4K. They did say it was like, oh, it's going to upscale with the AI thing.
Mm.
So I'm
Yeah.
little bit concerned about that.
Yeah, look, that's exactly what I wanted out of it too, right? Like I heard, oh, when the PS5 comes out, it's going to be 4K and it can do up to 120 frames a second. So I'm like, oh, so that means I'm going to be
Just not at the
it's going
same
to be
time.
4K at
Yeah.
120 frames a second. I didn't fucking know. And so that's what I'm expecting with this, but is this going to be more bullshit like last time, right?
Mm,
Where it's like, oh yeah, we can do these things sort of.
yeah, just not simultaneously.
Yeah, exactly. It might end up being a little bit too hybridy, sort of, to even wonder what's the point. Like with the Last of Us free upgrade for the PS5 compared to the new part or whatever the remaster is of it. Like, there's,
Yeah.
I love that game and I would have bought it, but I literally can't understand what the difference between the two is. I'm really not sure. So I'm not sure what's going to happen with the same thing with these two now as well.
Yeah. Uh, well, let's go through the things that they said. So they said it's a bigger graphics card, like
Yep.
something like 35% bigger. I don't know
I think it
what
was.
I don't know why it is bigger better. I'm not really sure. But they did say it was like something like 67 extra computing units. I don't know what that means, to be honest. But it's a bigger graphics
Hmm.
card. It has the AI upscaling thing. So
So that's the DLSS, is that correct?
I don't know what
Did
it's
you?
called, but
Did, okay.
but essentially it fills in the pixels. It's like an AI
Yeah,
thing to fill in the pixels, and it's kind of similar to what the PS4 Pro did with upscaling to 4K.
right. Yeah,
But this uses AI, and I kind of wonder how much of the GPU is going to be taken up with this AI thing running in the background.
yeah,
And then
that's true too.
and then you've got the ray tracing and the advanced ray tracing thing, which I think is like that's the feature I care least about, to be honest.
Hmm.
I never notice it really, unless pretty much I never notice it. But they did release that it's going to have 2 terabyte hard drive,
Hmm.
which is nice because you know
Hmm.
the
Yeah,
first
well,
one.
it needs it
Yeah.
for sure.
The original is like what 600 gigs or something, which is something
I
ridiculous.
think it was one. But
Oh no,
I
eight
immediately
twenty
thought,
five. It was eight twenty
yeah,
five, and then
yeah.
a lot of that was taken up by the OS, so it was
Hmm.
more like 600 and something. And then the RAM, the memory is the same, but it's
Okay.
running faster,
Hmm.
and there's no disk drive, which is interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, and that's something that I completely missed
Mm.
until after the whole thing like that.
Yeah. I
I
missed that
I
too.
that was such a I just assumed for a pro model that was just such a given that it
Mm.
really took someone to point that out. Maybe like, oh shit, you're actually right. I couldn't see it on there either.
I think this will help them move the disc units, the loose disc units, because I don't reckon people are buying them for
Well,
the slim.
I mean, look, how many people are pissed off about the lack of a disk drive, right?
Yeah, it's nuts. I mean,
It
if
maybe
if you're gonna have a digital only console, it needs more than 2 terabytes, right?
probably, yeah,
But I mean, it does have the
definitely.
expansion thing as well.
Well,
So
I mean, with the disk drives that we've got now, they still have to install the entire fucking game onto
yeah,
the thing anyway.
yeah.
So
But it's more about ownership and paying
yeah,
cheaper prices for games and stuff.
absolutely, that's the whole point. And then the game preservation and also
Mm.
just not having to deal with fucking online shit all the time. Like
Yeah.
I wouldn't even bitch about something like this because I'm just like, well, whatever. It just happened once, so I don't really care. But I was literally playing the PS5 version of Cyberpunk the other day on my console, right?
Yep.
Which I got for free because I already bought the physical PS4 disc version, right?
Oh. Oh wait. Oh, you're not talking about the expansion.
Yeah, no, yeah, that's right. I'm talking about just like the base game, right? Well,
Yeah.
I'll get
Yep.
to my
Okay.
point. So it was like just for the base, but because it was free, it just basically goes. The PS4 disc goes in, and then it allows me to unlock the PS5 version of the game. But it sits in there as two separate titles, right?
Yep. Yep.
But it's not the exact copy of that game. It's not the
Uh.
PS5 disc, right? Because that didn't exist until the Phantom Liberty thing came out.
Oh yeah. Okay.
So when my internet went out the other, like I literally had like the tiniest little flux. So I
Mm.
never have issues. I'm in the dead center of the city with fiber, right? But for whatever reason, just something was messing about. I had just started the game and I was playing it with the disc in there, and it came up with a message straight away, not after 2 hours or 12 hours, and said, "Oh, this game is going to shut down in 10 minutes because we can't verify your license."
Really?
But I had the disc in there,
Wow.
but it wasn't the correct exact disk, so it wasn't able to just work it out on its own.
That's
It
interesting. And
needed
it.
to do an offline check to check that thing in order to get it, right?
Yeah. It's interesting that it didn't wait like a day or something. Like it was straight away.
No, and but I should point out though, I am console sharing. If I wasn't doing
Hmm.
that, if I was playing on my home console, it wouldn't have done that.
So do you have Cyberpunk on two consoles? Is that what you're saying?
No, no, it's just the fact that so because I'm console sharing, my daughter's console is officially my console, like Rex's console.
Right.
And so that way, and I'm playing on her console, so that way she can play anything from my library because that's my console, and I can play anything from my library because I'm me on her console.
Yes.
All right.
Yeah.
So that, but if I was on the other console, on the one that was supposedly mine, it wouldn't need to check that license straight away. I think it would have been okay to given me some time
So you were
rather than booting out straight
you were
away.
playing it on her console.
Yeah.
Okay, and the disc was in her console,
Yes.
but it's kind of like registered to yours.
Well, what would have happened was is it because it couldn't do the internet check in the correct way because of the fact that it wasn't exactly the same identical game. It did
Mm.
require an internet check. It wasn't able to confirm that without the internet. Whereas if
Okay.
it was on your designated console, which is supposed to be for yours, should that happen, it would have just gone, oh, well, fuck it, we'll give you 12 or 24 hours and then we'll
Okay. Yeah.
recheck
Yeah.
it again because they know it's your console. So they sort of give you leeway
Yeah.
for
Well,
with your.
come to think of it, I did that with Final Fantasy
Hmm.
VII Remake because I had the PS4 disc, put it in my PS5. It gave me Final Fantasy VII Intergrade, which is the PS5 version, which I
Yeah.
was running, but with the PS4 disc, and I played that for like I don't know, like 40 hours, and I didn't have any problems with it.
Yeah, exactly. So, and you should have been completely fine because you'll be on your console and it should be fine.
Mm.
So I'm just saying, like, just as a caveat. But my
Yeah, yeah,
point is, though, is that that messed up even with a physical disc in it, and it was relying on an internet connection. Like, I
yeah,
don't
yeah,
fucking want a console that has to rely on a consistent internet connection just to play a single player game.
yeah. Of course.
And isn't that just what a digital console is going to be prone to all of the time?
Those sorts of issues for sure. Yeah,
Right?
yeah,
And so it's just there's that for me personally. That's my biggest issue with it. I just want things to be able to work without having to be reliant on another thing other than
yeah,
electricity and having TV.
yeah. Well, those are essential requirements, aren't they?
Right? So, like I understand I need stuff for games to work, but I really don't want to have to add the internet to
Mm,
definitely be one of those things all the time.
yeah.
And so having a digital console is just completely out of the question for me.
And I think this goes to a bigger topic about what's going to happen in the next generation with physical media going out the window and stuff. But and we can probably talk about that another time. But I do think that everyone's panicked a little bit, and I do think physical is here to stay at least for one more generation,
Yeah.
and then after that, who knows?
Yeah,
So
I agree. I don't think they would kick him out with the PS6, but they would be trying very hard to
yeah,
phase it
yeah,
out
I,
during
I
that
do think so. Yeah,
generation. And they're already making it difficult. And even so Assassin's Creed, I know no one gives a shit about Assassin's Creed, but it's going to be the first time that they're not actually releasing a physical version of the game, technically speaking,
Oh,
because
okay,
the
sure.
physical version that they're releasing doesn't have a functioning version of the game on it. It does require an internet download to actually
Mm.
get it to run at all.
Well, a lot of games are like that these days.
Well, that for your day one patches, sure, but
Yeah.
it would still be a functioning game at least anyway. You could still play it, whereas this
Yeah,
won't be playable at all without an internet connection.
I think that's more common on the Switch because the Switch cartridges are limited by their size.
Fair enough, but
Yeah,
then
yeah.
that still it still has that same issue though. But
Yeah,
I
yeah,
mean that's the
exactly.
Switch,
It's
that's
shit.
the thing.
Yeah.
But
So like for instance there was this is a probably not a good example, but there were physical copies of Among Us on the Switch, right?
mm,
And they were I think they were released by limited run. So only a
yeah,
limited number of copies are out there. And so you so it was on the Switch and you put the game in and then it's like it's just a download code. So the cartridge is really just like a download code and that's it.
oh
Yeah,
jeez,
yeah. So
okay, yeah.
you actually can't play it offline. I mean, not that you can play that game offline,
Not that you could
but
anyway,
the game is not
but
even on the
yeah,
thing. You know what I mean?
I exactly that, and
Yeah.
that's my whole point, right? And that's it's if that's already happening with the mainline games, like, fuck knows you can't play Call of Duty off a disc, surely,
Mm.
out of the box anymore. So
No, no,
if
no.
that's what's already happening, and then Sony and Xbox are pulling this shit, it's inevitable.
At some
And
point,
I
yeah.
yeah, and I think that's and ultimately that's what they would want,
Mm.
and we know that they want to be Valve. They want to just sit there with their storefronts and do as little as fucking possible. They don't want to make consoles. They want to have. They
Xbox,
want to make.
Microsoft definitely don't want to make consoles. I don't think
No, they
they.
don't want to make consoles. They want to run Game Pass and have people pay them for that, and then they're
Mm.
going to do a Netflix in 5-10 years time and start cracking up the prices.
Yeah, yeah.
And that's what they're all trying to do. So PC.
Well, yeah, it's still cheaper to buy like three PS5 Pros.
Well, not by much. Not when you look at the specs of what that thing can supposedly do. It's maybe only an extra few $100s for a PC that can do the same thing.
Let's talk about the price point now.
Yeah, totally.
So
Yeah,
it's
right.
$6.99, not including a disc drive or a fucking stand, which is
Yep.
insane anyway. But that equates to something like $1,100 Australian. So
Yeah, yeah,
probably bump that up to $1,200, I reckon. And
yeah. I reckon 12 to 13 if you wanted the disc drive and the stand. Absolutely.
yeah, pre-orders open up later this month, I believe. So we don't know for sure yet, but it'll be around that, and
Mm,
that's high. I
mm.
don't think the PS4 Pro was anywhere near that
No, no, I think
amount.
it was six or 650. No, I'm
I
talking
don't know if
Australian.
it's.
Sorry, yeah. So it would have been like, yeah, whatever. It would have been an American, like, um, what, 400 or four or
I
five?
don't remember exactly, but it was
Oh,
nowhere near $1,000.
God, no, no.
Um, and look, like we do know that they don't really make a profit off selling console units. I mean, maybe they do now, but definitely at launch. I remember at launch, the PS5 had it had a the GPU in the PS5 was like equivalent to like a $600 graphics card at the time for a PC.
Mm.
So it was like they're not making any money on the console units, which might be the case now. And if they are, they're making fuck all on it. So, but still,
But
it's a big price for what is essentially going to be incremental performance.
well, I think the other thing is as well, it's it's not just about it's oh well, poor Sony, they're having to put out this money for these cards and they're expensive and they need to make money. These cunts make money. They're fine. They
Good
make
point.
shitloads of money. You don't see them giving us the discounts on a digital game. I still
Yeah,
paid
yeah.
$110 for Astrobot on a digital console, and I would have
Wow.
paid the same amount if I paid it at EB Games. right? Or actually, it would have been cheaper because it would have price matched Harvey Norman for $88.
Yeah, yeah,
So
yeah,
they're making enough money. They're fine.
yeah. That's a
If
fair
they want to
point.
keep doing that, they have to have cheaper consoles. Otherwise,
Mm.
what's the point? Neither of them have enough exclusives to argue that it would be worth having that console over a PC at this stage, especially if the
Yeah,
price points are the same. Like what that's just mental.
and that is a big problem with this generation. Is is the exclusives are really lacking. I think
But
very light on good titles.
look, there's already a console maker out there who has extremely high prices on specific IPs, but their consoles are only like $400 or $500. And
Yeah, yeah,
Nintendo
yeah.
will always make physical games, and so they're always going to do that thing. So you don't have to feel bad about that. But Sony only has a handful of IPs, and sometimes they're good, sometimes they're shit. They can't be consistent. Not everyone loved, The Last of Us Part 2. Not everyone loved Ragnarok and everything else as well. Like, you can't guarantee that.
I think everyone did love Ragnarok.
Okay, well,
but yeah, your Last of Us point makes sense. And what you
yeah,
said
it's
about what you said about the Switch, it's funny because I sent to the group chat. I sent that meme today, or not the meme, that picture of the all the console launch prices over the years,
yeah.
adjusted for inflation. There's no source. It's probably completely fake, but the Nintendo Switch was among the cheapest consoles. And this was going like right back to Atari days.
Oh,
So
it was,
it
yeah,
had
ages,
heaps of stuff on there,
Mm,
and PS5 Pro is sort of near the top.
yeah.
So yeah, I
But there
guess
was like 6 or 7 above it, though. I
there
think it was
were
the 3DO that was on top, wasn't it?
the 3DO was on top, and I do have one. And I didn't pay one and a
Oh,
half. I didn't pay 1.5 grand for it. I can tell you that much. But yeah,
How much did you pay for it then, actually, out of curiosity?
well, it's a Japanese model, and I paid about 250 Australian with shipping,
Okay, when was that? What year was that?
like last year,
Oh, okay.
or maybe
Yeah,
this year
sweet.
even. Yeah, yeah. So yeah, I think that was a pretty good deal.
Okay, sweet. That's not too bad for something that used to cost $1,500.
Yeah, it's a bit like a car. It's depreciated.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Well, look, I reckon that's probably about covers it. So yeah, look, kind of exciting. I do want to get one. I
Yeah,
can't, I can't justify that price though. But
Mm.
as we said, if EB Games or something has those cool
Oh,
trading deals, I might consider it.
so I did see. So EB Games in the US. No, it can't have been EB Games. It must have been GameStop in the US.
GameStop, yep.
I thought someone said. Anyway, fucking one of them came out and sent out a tweet and said, "Oh, we're still trading in like PS5s at like $410." So, and that's US.
Hey, that's pretty
So
good.
that's not too bad. I would hope that
Mm.
EBs would be along the same lines here. So, if that's 410 off the 700, so that's over half.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
hopefully,
that's not bad for trading. That's
so
excellent.
if they can give us, so if ours end up costing us what, 1,200 Australian, they wouldn't give us, oh,
Nah, that if you're trading your PS5, you're not
maybe,
getting like $250, I reckon.
well, then that's nowhere near what they're giving the Yanks though. And so that kind of fucks us.
Oh well.
Because yeah, if we were getting the equivalent of 410 American dollars, right? Like US dollars
Yeah, which
worth.
is
That
about
would
600.
be It'll be about 600 here, but EB Games isn't going to give us $600 for
No,
a
because
PS5.
a brand new PS5 is 700.
Exactly, right? So that's definitely not going to happen.
Yeah, yeah. So it'll
But
be
hopefully, if
yeah.
we could get maybe $400,
I don't I don't see that happening. Nah.
it would be a rough ask. But
Yeah.
man,
We'll see.
without something like that, it would just be fucked.
If my PlayStation blows up tomorrow, I'll probably just get the Pro. I'll put it that way.
Yeah, all that being said, absolutely 100%,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
if and it would have been the same thing for me with my PS4 in the last generation. If
Mm.
it broke, I would have got a PS4 Pro. I just couldn't do the
And you know what I
But
did? When I got my PS4 Pro, I sold my PS4 Slim and I bought a secondhand one on Marketplace. So it cost me almost nothing. because
Oh, true. Oh,
yeah,
so
yeah.
you just. Oh, okay. I see what you're
I
saying.
found a good deal on Marketplace, and it costed me like an extra $100 over what I sold my original one for.
Oh, nice.
But yeah, I didn't buy it brand new though. So
But it was good though, and you
oh,
actually
it was
upgraded the SSD, didn't
yeah,
you?
yeah, and it was in excellent condition. The guy like really
Hmm.
took care of it. I put the new SSD in there, so it was like it was awesome. Um, but yeah, I didn't pay like $800 for it or something at the time.
Yeah, I swear they came out at like 650 or something like
Mm,
that. But yeah, they were nowhere near this price, and yeah, it had a fucking disk drive, and it
that's
didn't even
right.
need a stand.
It didn't. Oh, don't get me started on these stands, mate.
They're so shit. They're so bad.
Oh, I know.
You get honestly, did you end up getting that stand that the ones that I've got?
Yeah,
Yeah, and they were like $12 from Amazon. They were way
excellent.
better.
Yeah, yeah.
Yep,
It's a
so
horizontal
good.
stand. But
Yep.
yeah, yeah, they're awesome. Really prefer it. I threw my Sony stand out.
Yeah.
That plastic
Oh
piece of
no, you
crap.
should have kept it for your pro.
Oh yeah, I might need it.
That would be great if they actually managed to make it fit in there somehow.
Yeah, yeah. No, I won't. Yeah, I don't think it will. It looks a
Yeah,
little
no, it
smaller to be
definitely
honest,
won't.
but yeah.
Yeah, it absolutely won't.
Anywho, well, look, I think that about covers everything we want to talk about today. Thank
Lovely.
you so much for listening in, and thanks Rex for joining again. Yeah, we'll see how this goes. Any feedback would be much appreciated. Leave us a comment or like or a 5-star review on your platform of choice. That'll be lovely. And yeah, any last words?
Yeah, let us know if you're going to order a PS5 Pro and let us know what your address is as well. That'd be
Yeah.
sweet.
Actually, I'll put a poll up. If
Yeah,
I'm gonna put up a poll. Are you gonna get the Pro or not? Yeah, let us know. And thanks, guys. Cheers.